So I hope it was pretty obvious that I didn't really have a preconceived plan for any of these fish. I had a basic concept in mind, two overlapping triangles, one triangle being the body, one triangle being the tail, and then I just sort of let my imagination, creativity, and the scrap glass at hand dictate how that unfolded. You know, there is no one masterpiece fish. It's the compilation of the many that make this playful. I wouldn't recommend overstressing about anything in particular. You know, if anything, move on and then backtrack and then move on and then maybe bounce back to a fish if it's still talking to you in a way that doesn't make your heart smile. And the only really important thing is that every fish has at least one hook. I actually put 2 hooks in 4 of the fish. And when this comes out of the kiln and is finally assembled, you'll see why I chose to do that. I may or may not use all of these fish in the finished product, but having more, again, allows me the ability to have a bit of discernment as I create my fish mobile. The only other important thing is that everything is overlapped and, again, tacked down with a bit of glue. So when I say overlapped, putting 2 pieces of glass, just a refresher because it's been a while, but putting 2 pieces of glass side by side doesn't guarantee that they're going to fuse together. They need to have a little bit of overlapping in a layering so it actually melts together. This is going to be taken to a light contour, which means these fish are going to come out with texture, but everything is going to soften and round. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoy your project. If any of your scrap is, you know, dime size or smaller, please just sweep it up and throw it away. If you end up having bigger pieces of scrap, you're welcome to put them in a little side compartment back in your to-go box and drop them back off, and I'll add that into our scrap bins. And I hope you enjoyed this process. I look forward to seeing what everybody creates. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. I think you can see the majority of my fish here on your screen. Here they are out of the kiln. All kind of different and lovely and playful. The first thing I did was figure out the layout that I wanted my fish to be in my finished mobile. I have decided to use all my fish because why not? The more the merrier. I have this stick that my lovely 2-year-old daughter found, and I have put 2 eye hooks in the top and then 5 eye hooks evenly spaced on the bottom side of it. Because I created a handful of fish with 2 hooks in them, I'm able to hang 9 fish from this mobile, even though I only have 5 hooks. So something as simple as that gives the finished piece a little more interest, in my opinion. When I do mobiles, I usually either use fishing wire because I like the invisibility of the thread, or I'll use something a little heavier. For this fish mobile, I'm going to use this twine-like roping, and the reason I've chosen the twine opposed to the fishing wire is I find the fishing wire in the wind or whatever, things tend to get tangled. And I have a large amount of objects that I'm going to be hanging pretty close to one another, so I don't really want them to get tangled up if at all possible. 2 of my rows are done, so I'll finish these last 3 rows with you. And the way I've chosen to hang my fish is I just take my twine, bend it in half, and then I'll loop it through the hook like that. Again, the reason that I'm looping it like this is because it's going to prevent, and I don't know if you can see how I did that, but it's going to prevent the fish from swinging around as much. Looping it like this is going to kind of hold my fish in place a little bit better. I would recommend cutting more string than you need. So after you loop it around the fish hook, you can thread it through the eye hook that is attached to the stick. And I would just start by pulling the thread tight and putting a single knot in it until everything is assembled in a spacing that you like. Once it's spaced appropriately, then go back through and double knot it all. If you start double knotting it from the get-go and you want to make slight adjustments to how things change, you're just creating a little more work for yourself in the tail end. So just a single knot there. I'll do this guy a while. Again, I'm going to take my string, double it up, and then I'll thread this through the hook in my fish and loop it back through. And that's going to cinch the fish at that point in the roping, and it's going to force the rope to lay side by side, which is going to encourage the fish to kind of face forward. I mean, it's still a dangling mobile, but it's when things settle, the fish are going to be more likely to face in one direction by having the rope lay side by side instead of just threading it through one end and out the other. And then again, I will loop this through the other end, pull my string tight so I have my layout relatively where I want it, and I'll put a single knot in it. I am pretty confident that this fish is going to fall where I want. So after I put my single knot in it like that, because I have this excess, you can make a bow if you want to make it fancy, or now I can just tie my excess threads together in a double knot, and then I'll cut it nice and close to the end of the knot. And that should hold it pretty good. If you have... All right, so there she is, kind of backed in white. I don't know if you can really get the full grasp of the finished product. Yeah. And there it is in front of a window with a little bit of backlighting. So I hope you enjoy your finished product. I hope you enjoyed the process. You know, again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And yeah, that's all. Happy fusing.